English Weekly. Your English Weekly. La chronique 100% en anglais de Radio Grand Lac avec Sinead.
Bonjour, bonjour. Bonjour à tous ceux qui nous écoutent aujourd'hui en Radio Grand Lac 92.1 FM. Bienvenue à l'émission Your English Weekly, animée par moi-même, Sinead Dupont-Pocher-Baron, professeur d'anglais. L'objectif de cette émission, c'est stimuler la langue anglaise, l'expression anglaise aussi. Chaque semaine, vous découvrez soit un article, une histoire inspirée par un élève ou un étudiant de Your English Workshop ou l'université. Cette émission est aujourd'hui sponsorisée par Your English Workshop, qui est un centre de formation pour l'apprentissage de l'anglais certifié Calliope. Restez à l'écoute dans les 15 prochaines minutes pour notre expression de la semaine et notre conversation en anglais avec Juline Leclerc, une jeune étudiante de USMB, Université Savoie-Mont-Blanc, déjà impliquée dans les associations, donc bravo à Juline. La leçon de cette semaine est de niveau B2. Hi and welcome back to Your English Weekly. Today we have a new lesson. This week our lesson is presented by one of my students, Julie Leclerc. Hello, Juline.
Hi, Sinead.
Juline, you're from University Savoie-Mont-Blanc, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Juline, before we start our lesson today, can you introduce yourself to our audience, to our listeners?
Sure.
Great.
So I'm Juline Leclerc. I'm 22 years old and I'm currently in second year of engineering in an apprenticeship. So I'm following courses at Polytech School and Technolac campus in building, eco-construction and energy.
Wow, that sounds really good. So you're going to talk to us today about tiny houses, is that right?
Yes, right.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, Julian, before we start, we've got an expression of the week, like every week. So this week, our expression is think outside of the box. Think outside the box. Do you have any idea what that means?
I think to think outside the box is to think differently with another state of mind.
Yeah, well, we'll find out at the end if you're right. So, Julian, now that you have introduced yourself to our audience, and our listeners are going to learn some new words today before you present tiny houses. So some of the words our listeners are going to hear is tiny house. What is a tiny house?
A tiny house is a really small accommodation of a maximum of 25 square meters, which can be transported on a trailer pulled by a car or be fixed on the ground. In comparison to a caravan, it looks like a house. Tiny houses are increasingly attractive nowadays, not only for financial reasons, but also for encouraging a simple lifestyle and low carbon emission. Tiny houses are now seen as an environmentally friendly movement.
Okay, thank you. And what is a trailer?
A trailer is a device fixed at the back of a car to carry large things that cannot be placed in the trunk.
Yeah, and the trunk is the back of the car, the boot. Good work. Financial.
The financial aspect of something is directly linked to money or to the cost of something.
Okay. Lifestyle.
Your lifestyle is how you choose to live in your daily life, your habits, your convictions, and what you pay attention to.
Own.
Doing something on our own is doing something alone in autonomy without external control.
Okay. A famous word at the moment, reuse.
Reuse means use again several times.
Okay. Fictive.
What is fictive is not real, it does not exist.
Paused.
Pausing something is stopping doing something for a time and resuming later.
Sponsors.
Sponsors are like partners that help financially in return for advertising.
Okay. And LCA.
LCA means life cycle assessments. It is an environmental study aiming to evaluate the carbon footprint of a building, an object, a company, for example.
Okay, fantastic. So now we're going to go on to talk about the tiny houses. Could you explain to our listeners your objectives, what the project is?
So I'm part of an association that aims to build a tiny house on our own, focusing on a low carbon footprint and being energy sufficient. We'll reuse materials as much as possible, collect rainwater, and use solar panels to produce electricity. The aim is really to provide a home to a student. In fact, at the beginning of the year, some students are homeless because they haven't had time to find an apartment and they come from really far away. So we want the tiny house to stand on the campus near schools.
Okay, and the chronological, how does the project work?
So it all started during our first year in Polytech, so in 2021, during project management courses. Our teacher proposed to work on an example to stimulate project management. So introduced a tiny house conception project. Different groups have been made in the class to study the many technical solutions, estimate the cost, read the laws, do benchmarking, and coordinate the different teams. We were really involved in this project and learned a lot about the organization, team management, and the difficulty encountered when leading a project. However, we worked on this fictive project only during class at school. That left us little time. Some students were really motivated to work more seriously on the tiny house conception and possibly the construction. At the end of our first school year, in May 2022, the association FISA House is officially created. FISA is the name of our class. It means Formation ingénieur par apprentissage. And house comes from tiny house. Thus, it's the house of the apprentices. Since the class was split during the summer because of internships abroad and working in companies in many different regions of France, we paused the project between May and September. Then, the first months of the second year were focused on the conception of the tiny house in a project management class and other administrative tasks like opening a bank account, being labeled at the university level, or having the proper insurance. Then we focused on finding sponsors and organizing events in university and in Chambéry city to raise money to buy materials and a trailer. In January, we just finished the primary conception of the tiny house in our last project management classes. From now, only the students really motivated by the project will work on the tiny house during that time.
So what does the situation change involve?
So now we have fewer team members, but we are the most motivated by the project. The quality is not affected and the organization is much easier.
Okay, so you've organized this association, and who is the head of this association?
Our steering committee comprises 7 active members, and several class members are helping punctually with various tasks.
Okay, so it's really collective.
Yes.
Okay, good. So what do you do now? What are you going to do?
Now, for the moment, we have contacts with several companies agreeing to give us money or reused materials. Thanks to donation, we'll update and specify the primary conception according to our materials. Our second focus is the communication aspect of the project. We display posters at the university to get known by students, professors, and workers on the campus. Some professors took note of our project and will give us support and technical aspects thanks to their knowledge. Moreover, we are organizing events in the city to get known and raise funds.
So what will you need to do now to carry out the rest of this project?
What we're looking for now are new or recycled construction materials, partnerships, sponsorships, a building plot, or a tiny house trailer.
Okay, yeah. A building plot. Okay, a place where you can put the tiny house on?
Yeah, exactly. So a place on the campus, for example, or maybe in Le Bourget du Lac or Chambéry.
Okay, and will you get permission to put the tiny houses on the campus?
We need to ask the university first. So we have contacts with the person who is in charge of that. So we are currently negotiating to have right to build the tiny house on the campus. That would be perfect for us.
Of course it would. It's not far from where you are. It's close for people as well to be able to live there and go to school.
Yeah, it's the easier way to study on the campus.
Of course it is. Now let's hope it works. So if we want to follow the progress of this project, I'm sure there are many students out there that would like to be able to follow the progress.
Yeah,
Where can we follow it?
We are on the social networks, so you can follow our project on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn by typing FISA House. So FISAHOUSE, FISA House.
Okay. And if I was just to ask another quick few questions, one of them is, how do we know that the carbon footprint is very low with your tiny house? Because it's the objective of this project, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we focus really on the carbon footprint. So first of all, we try to reuse materials. So instead of being waste, they're reused. So the carbon footprint is like 0. And when it's other materials, we try to analyze the carbon footprint of them thanks to a national database called INES, where we can find environmental product declaration, which give us information about carbon footprint of materials.
Okay, and how do you spell that? It's not INES, our solar system, huh? It's...
Right, it's INES, INIES.
Okay. And what was the biggest challenge you had in this project?
During the first year, the biggest challenge was really to organize ourselves, because we were a whole class, so 25 students, and it was really difficult to coordinate the teams and to share the information and the technical solution we choose. So that was the biggest challenge. Now the challenge is more to find partners, to have money to buy materials, or to find materials that we can reuse on construction sites, for example.
Mm-hmm. And all the workers that will help you to build these tiny houses, are they all volunteers?
We want to buy it by our own, so it's just a member of our association and more volunteer if they want.
Okay, you won't refuse any volunteers, huh?
Right.
And when will the first house be finished, do you think?
We plan to finish the construction of our tiny house before the end of our
diploma.
Yeah, our diploma. So we finished the lessons at the end of school year 2024. So in May, if I'm not mistaken. And if not, we will just let the association to the next class that could be finish the house.
Okay,
maybe.
So you might have to pass on the project to the next generation of students.
Right, so
arrive.
we plan to do that maximum in 1.5 years.
Okay, well, you still got a bit of time to put things together. And well, I'll be very curious to come and see, and if I have time, I'll come and help you too. Why not? Okay, so Julian, thank you for all of this information and for coming today and talking to us about the tiny houses on the trailer. And I have seen them, and I know that they are upcoming and upbeat at the moment. People are interested in them. So Julian, let's come back quickly to my expression. Think outside the box. And you are right. It is to think imaginatively, using new ideas instead of traditional ideas. Good. Do we have an expression for that in French?
In French, I don't really know there an expression or not.
I think it's more or less the same, no? To think differently. Penser en dehors.
Penser en dehors de la boîte.
Yeah. Okay.
Oui.
Well, that's all from us today. So if you wish to listen to this podcast again, don't hesitate to find us on YouTube. Also, you will see my Facebook page with the expression of the week. I wish you all a wonderful week, and I'll be back again next week with a new guest. And of course, please share the podcast today. And if you wish to organize stages for your children, we have a stage during the first week of the holidays for primary and college children in your English workshop. So don't hesitate to find us on www.yourenglishworkshop.com. And if you want to join my program, you can send me a message via LinkedIn. Thanks again, Julina, for coming today. It was really a pleasure to have you on the air with us.
Thank you, Sinead.
Okay, so stay tuned for later because we have at 1:00 Jessica with her new tendencies and her new ideas for your house. At 2:15 to 2:30, we've got Joe and the jeu de mouvement. Retrouver le joie de mouvement au quotidien. Je pense qu'il faut que j'écoute cela, moi. So, tous les jours, tous les 15 jours. Okay, well, bye to you from us at you.
Your English Weekly. Your English Weekly. La chronique 100% en anglais de Radio Grand Lac avec Sinead.